The committee of the whole is called back to order. Colleagues, we have the administration here, BBMR. We will do only one round and wrap this up and move on the bill. Currently, no one has submitted any amendments. When we're done with this round, we will immediately go to the third round, which is amendments and comments. And if there's no amendments...
Point of information, Mr. Chair, I'm sorry,
Yes.
but did we lose Mr. Estevez for a reason?
No, I think it's...
Because
Well,
I think that it was relevant that he be here.
Well, we have BBMR. This is all about money anyway. I know it may
Yeah,
be
but
relevant.
Mr. Estevez plays a key and integral role in the spending and, if you will, the regulation of this money. Should we appropriate this 50 million? I mean, he's the guy who signs off on the stuff. He's got a big role. I mean, I'm not saying Lester doesn't have an important role, but is there a reason why he left? Thank you, sir.
He waited all day. My colleagues, I already said we will start now, one round, and we will move to the amendment and comments. After that, that's it. Okay? We'll begin with Senator Fisher. Do you have any questions for the administration, BBMR or OFB?
Yes, I do. Good evening, Mr. Carlson. It's just real simple. Do you guys have $50 million? Then to tell them.
If I may, I read this bill as having two parts. The first, and Speaker, correct me if I misspeak, it's kind of late, I think we're all a little tired. But the first part basically talks about 5 GCA 22402, which is the emergency $250,000, which we already did. I think we notified you about that. We did that May 22nd. So I know Mayor Alec was rather emotional, and he was talking about the pace of things.
I beg your pardon, sir. I forgive the interruption, but I've asked a very simple question. Do you have $50 million?
As the bill is provided to us, no.
Okay. Let's suppose you did have $50 million. Do you have a laundry list of things that you would be... Are we on a one-question rule?
No.
No, it's one round. You're
Okay.
5 minutes. You're
All right, one
ticking.
Did you guys sit down with a pencil and paper and kind of write down all the stuff you wanted and how much you thought it would cost, and it came up to 50 million, or was this just kind of a big fat round number that we just thought, well, this sounds good?
Mr. Chair, I have a point of information, please.
Madam Vice, you have a point? Please state your point of information.
Thank you, sir. Just for clarity's sake, based on the Organic Act and what's happening now, it states that the governor can take a certain percentage from the budget of the government of Guam during emergencies.
Yeah, but they don't
So
have...
whether they have the money or not, whatever is there to take, to utilize, to protect and work and help us recover, then that is it.
Okay. That's correct.
I think budget should,
Sir,
BBMR should
was
tell
that,
them that.
has she made her point?
Okay. Maybe as Vice Speaker asked, that the BBMR may want to state that to the fact what she said.
She can go to town on it. But if I think she's made her point, and I think that the administration's made their point by telling us that they don't have $50 million.
Turn on.
Senator Fisher,
Sir?
from what I understand, we didn't have any part in drafting this bill.
Believe me, I'm not blaming you, but I'm just wondering if you want us to spend $50 million, do you have
Mr. Chair, point of information. I think we just received a message from the governor that Mr. Estevez is on his way back.
Okay.
All right, so...
We'll move along. Thank you. Go, continue, Senator Fisher.
Yes, and thank you for the interruption. We needed that information right now. have you made any sort of list as to what things cost and why you need $50 million?
Sir, are you asking me?
Lester, pardon me, Mr. Carlson.
But you're asking me.
Yes, sir.
What I know is that on May 22nd, upon the declaration of emergency, BBMR made available per section 22402, $250,000. Of that 250,000, 150,000 went for contractual needs. Again, common sense application. We were asked to provide $75,000 for the state activation of the Guard, which we thought would be a great idea. So 75,000 went to that. And 25,000 remains available. Nobody's asked me since May 22nd to modify or move that money into any other account.
Okay, you said we have 25,000 left?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then on May 26th, a Friday, if I'm not mistaken, we were given a budget from Homeland for basically $3.5 million to address the typhoon recovery response needs. And I must take 1 second to tell everybody that there were very limited communications. There was no internet access at my office, no telephone, no nothing, no power. But we identified a fund source, and we were able to load that money by going up to the Office of Homeland Security and utilize their access to get that money provided for the initial phases of response activities. And so the funding for that essentially is personnel, 492,000, contractual services, 2.177 million. Supplies and materials, 143,600. Equipment, 56,000. Miscellaneous, 270,000.
So what's the total, sir?
Pardon me?
What is the total?
The total is 3.5 plus 250,000. So we've already put in $3,750,000 from the within the last week for
Okay.
typhoon recovery responses.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. I wish we had been able to ask you these questions 10 hours ago. We most certainly would have saved everybody a lot of time. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Senator Typhoon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What is the governor's transfer authority? What percentage are we giving her in the last FY23 budget?
Okay, you're going to have to bear with me.
Okay.
Her transfer authority is 15%.
Okay.
You go to page 7 of the last CRER, April CRER, and you will see that the total available is 267,369,368 because we're 7-8 months into the fiscal year. So the operative number to begin ascertaining what can be transferred is $267,379,368. But then you have to take the arduous effort, and again, sorry, but we didn't have power, so it's handwritten. There are exemptions from the governor's transfer authority. Medicaid, 8.7 million, MIP, 4 million, MIP Cancer, 800,000, the Mayor's Council, Island Beautification, Office of Public Accountability, the Legislature, OFB, Youth Congress, Judiciary, CLTC, Election Commission, Public Defender, Office of the Attorney General, DOE, Charter Schools, UOG, GCC, and miscellaneous appropriations, and then, of course, the remaining portion of debt service, which we can't touch. So you get 267 million minus the grand total of exemptions that we can't touch. That's $187,885,442, which leaves us a balance of $79,493,926. You apply the 15% transfer authority, that gets you to $11,924,000. $924,089, 11924,089. So in answer to Senator Fisher's question, based upon how the bill is set out, Part 1 is $250,000, and then the Part 2 is the transfer authority. The transfer authority, after we did the back of the, it wasn't even back of the napkin. It was a lengthy process without the aid of computers. It's just shy of $12 million.
So compared to the bill that is seeking 50 million. So Lester, if there's only $11 million that the governor has to utilize for transfer authority, it's a far cry from 50. So my next question is to BBMR. In FY22, the budget, how much money was set aside in the rainy day fund?
22?
Yes, in 22, I was asking BBMR.
Oh, forget, maybe 14 million.
About 14 million. And then how much has been set aside for FY23?
Since we're only 7-8 months into it, it's 7 million.
$22 million is sitting in the rainy day fund right now, compared to $11 million in which the governor only has for her transfer authority.
Yes, but can I remind the body that the amount of money that we're talking about here is almost exclusively personnel.
The 11 million you're talking about? Yes. So that if she were to move this $11 million, then it'd be affecting employees getting paid.
Yes, ma'am.
So technically, we don't even have the $11 million. Unless we want to, have pay less paydays for our employees. That's all they need on their plate after a typhoon now.
You're absolutely correct.
So we have in the rainy day fund right now close to 20 plus, a lot more than what the bill is alluding to.
No.
So, Lester, I have a question with regards to if the transfer authority is 11 million, which that she has, but it's all salaries. Then how do you suppose we need to give some money right now to the mayors. We need to help our island, get back to recovering from this devastation. So what do you recommend that we do?
First and foremost, this morning we got a bunch of emails while I was here. There was a number of purchase orders from the Mayor's Council that were initiated last week, 22nd, 23rd, that have cleared DOA and are basically posted. In other words, they're ready to give the vendor. Much of that was for heavy equipment rental. So the Mayor's Council utilized funds that they have from ARP under the non-entitlement unit category. And the list includes villages, Umatic, Jigo, Jotnya, Sirhanya, Tumuning, Manila, Talafofo, and an extension or augmentation of an existing purchase order at Benson for PD. But the other entities were primarily looking at heavy equipment rental, Jotnya specifically. So I think it was Senator Kinata who spoke previously about everybody, you know, like his sprained ankle, right? You know, everybody doing their part. I think the Mayor's Council did their part, utilizing monies that they had available to get heavy equipment to address the needs, you know, in certain villages.
Thank you, Lester, but my question is, what is the recommendation of the administration to get funding to them so they can start additional purchases?
They have funding.
So they currently have money right now that they're able to utilize, and based on any kind of assessment that's been made right now, as we're moving forward and FEMA is here, is there really money needed for the administration right now?
Mayor's Council or administration?
The administration.
Yes, there is money that we should identify other than the $3,750,000 that we have already put into play. I think what I would suggest, and you know, don't take this as anything but a suggestion, is that you allow the governor to prioritize the disaster recovery first, using available general funds, and I will take you to page 178 of this year's budget, the authorization for payment of prior year obligations. This section 21 on page 178 gives a department the authority to pay prior year obligations from current year funds as long as there is no negative impact to the current operations of that department or agency. I would ask this body to give that same authority to the governor to allow for her to prioritize the funding that we have to make funds available to address the immediate needs.
Currently, right now in Leicester, is there an emergency right now to get this money? I mean, like tonight, do we have to vote on this tonight? Is there anything detrimental that's going to happen if we don't do that? Instead, come back tomorrow morning and come with a new bill that's probably more realistic? And is that something, I mean, we're here tonight because everyone sees an emergency here. And you're telling us that the governor has money. And I even heard on Facebook last night when they did a press conference, or when they even told Mayor Alec, don't say that we don't have money, because we do have money. And we're sitting here tonight, you know, all day long because we feel there's money needed right this minute. So the bill already calls for money that we don't have. We don't have the $50 million in the first place. So
I agree.
In your opinion?
I agree with your suggestion because $50 million from the two sources that are cited is impossible.
It's not there.
We have jump-started the recovery efforts. Mr. Fenton went on to say on numerous occasions that we don't have a number yet. So
Thank you, and thank you, Lester. I think at this time, Madam Chair, I will make a motion that we recess tomorrow, regroup after hearing the comments made by the administration, and we come to the table here with a bill that I think we all need to agree on, and most especially a bill that actually identifies true money that's needed. As far as an emergency at this point, we have FEMA out there, we have the administration that's funding, $3 million just recently, putting the acquisitions together for the mayor's office. So I know that many people here tonight have been here all day, and I just recommend at this point in a motion that we recess until tomorrow at maybe 10 o'clock, give enough time to look at possibly introducing a new bill.
There's a motion to recess until tomorrow at 10 a.m. Are there any objections? There is an objection. All those in favor of recessing until tomorrow at 10 a.m., please signify by raising your hand. Motion passes. We are in recess until 10 a.m. Thank you to our panel. Thank you, colleagues. Have a safe evening.